you ever had a dream where you died?
You mean like where you're in danger?
No, where you actually die. You're being killed or something.
No. I usually do the killing in my dreams.
The game Catherine has been turning heads pretty much ever since it was announced. It's something about a love triangle and some nightmarish sheep that talk. Doesn't sound like the typical setup for a game. So first of all, how do you make a game out of this?
Actually, I think that was a very accurate description of the game. But in Catherine, basically Catherine is a puzzle game. Mm-hmm. And it's incredibly unique in a way that it implements story with puzzle elements. And it has a very core gameplay, but it uses story to wrap a whole package around this very simple mechanic. So it's a great game.
So let's talk story first. What's it about other than a love triangle? That's pretty generic.
Well, in Catherine, we meet Vincent, who's a 32-year-old, no good son of a gun. He's trapped in this loveless relationship with his girlfriend Catherine, which is a very nice woman,
Like someone you could live your life with whoever, but
exactly. But there's no real passion, there's no real heat to her, and she talks a lot about getting married because they are in that place in their relationship where it has to move on.
So far, this sounds nothing like a video game review.
We'll get there. We'll get there. One day, when Vincent is depressed about his life, he sits and drinks at his local bar, and this incredible girl named Catherine with a C comes along, and she is incredibly hot. She is a bombshell, a blonde woman,
Yeah, we get the picture, I think.
Great. But she is a very nice girl, and alcohol mixing with a beautiful woman taking interest in you. Of course, this has to go wrong, and they end up in bed together. The problem is that as Vincent cheats with Catherine with C, he gets haunted by these nightmares. Every night, he dreams of going up a large tower. And this tower is not a regular tower in a way. It starts from the bottom of the pits of hell and goes up to the skies.
Right.
And in order to climb it, you have these rectangular blocks that you have to push in or out.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, where does the game come in here? But
that is the core mechanic. That the way you climb this tower is that you have to move the blocks strategically to form a staircase. And when you form a staircase, you have the opportunity to perceive upwards. Of course, along the way, the tower itself becomes shorter and shorter. And of course, there's a time limit, and then there's also bosses and so forth. So
boss fights in a puzzle game.
Boss fights in a puzzle game. You see, each night, Vincent has to go through these different levels of his nightmare, and at the end of the level, he is confronted with one of his demons from his reality.
Right.
So when she talks about Catherine with a K, talks about getting married, she haunts him in his dreams as a very, we'll say, gruesome bride, for example.
So where do the sheep come in?
Well, the sheep is it's part of this thematic that the game involves itself in. You see, as Vincent goes to sleep, he meets other people, other cheating husbands and guys, and they instead of represented as people, they're represented as sheep. So you meet a sheep with a nice tie, you meet a sheep with a nice hat, and so on. You can actually see the people that you meet in real life in Vincent's daytime, and then as sheep in his nightmare.
Surreal. A lot of games that try to do that sort of really heavy story emphasis often fail when it comes to matching the story with the gameplay. How does that work out here?
I think Catherine has a huge advantage story-wise in the case that how do you connect these two very different gameplay types? You have an ordinary everyday life where Vincent goes to a bar and talks with his friends and meet other people. And help them with their situation, and then you have this puzzle game, nightmarish type gameplay. But the way that they have combined this is that Atlas, who made the game, got help from an animation studio called Studio 4 Degrees, which some of you might know have made short films for Halo Legends and Gotham Knights. Excellent couple of films, by the way. And they really made a great job creating these very cool movies. So when you progress through the game, you get to see the next movie, you know, you get to see what happens to Vincent. And you know, that's just a huge payoff because it's very difficult going through the tower. So when you finally achieve something, you really feel that you're getting rewarded for it.
So is it fun?
Yes.
Yes.
I would say that it's fun, especially if you like the puzzle genre. It can be very hard. There's a very steep learning curve. So the first couple of levels, you will feel very confused. What is this all about? This looks very muddy, and the graphics aren't that nice. So you know, what's going on here? But as you progress through the game, you know, it's getting very addictive.
It clicks, sort of.
Yeah, and you say, oh, I just gotta one more, just gotta climb this tower, you know, to see what happens next to Vincent.
Right.
That's just, you know, the whole. We want to know what goes on in his life. We want to know how he messes up the next situation, and you know, it's a great game, you know, and have that rewarding system. That's just great fun.
So, in conclusion, it's a bizarre concept that's really well executed.
I think so, and it might not look and feel like, you know, a game that you would pick up from the store. You're looking at these great titles, but you know, people should really give it a shot because it's immensely unique and it's something very different.